Oh, yeah. Oh my God. A black Christmas tree. Good character. Oh, I'm.
So when I hear this, it's like, I got to turn it down, I can't concentrate.
I know, start to listen to it.
Okay, guys, it's 10 o'clock. Thank you guys for joining us. We've got a couple meetings left of Mastermind this year. But today we have a special treat. Jamey's going to join us here in a few minutes and go through a couple of his visionary things that he thinks about and dreams about from a 10,000-foot level. But first, we want to thank you, Liz, for coming today. You had a sick kid that still made it.
Okay.
And Liz with Midnight Travels here, so thank you for breakfast, Liz. Danielle can't clap when she's eating. So the floor is yours. Let me start.
I know. I feel like I do this spiel that y'all know. Most of you in this room, we know. So you know this spiel, but my name is Liz Deegan with Midnight Title. We are headquartered on Camp Bowie, across the street from Kincaid's. I feel like every time I come, we have a new location. We do have a new location in Flower Mound. We have 15 offices now throughout the state of Texas.
15.
I know it's been a busy 18 months. And I really do think we're done. I say that again, and next we'll find out new news. But we sort of are in two sections. We have our DFW offices, so which would probably be more prevalent to you guys, which is ready. Camp Bowie, Alliance, Granbury, Burleson, Weatherford, Willow Park, South Lake, I say Alliance, Granbury. That's kind of our Dallas-Fort Worth situation, and Frisco. Sorry, forgot about them. Then a bunch of offices in San Antonio, Austin, and Conroe. So kind of what this means for you all is we work off a cloud-based system. So if you have a seller that lives in Frisco and is going to be in San Antonio and needs to sign there, we can do anything out of all of those offices. You can drop off earnest money in Alliance and close on Camp Bowie. So all of our offices function together. So also because of that, we are able to offer a little bit more sort of widespread CE and different classes for you all, which is also nice. I mean, as you all know, like our Willow Park office is 10 minutes from our Camp Bowie office. So go to our website under resources and you'll see a class calendar sort of what we have. I did want to point out, I know a lot of people need ethics by the end of the year. So we are doing on Wednesday, December 18th via Zoom, an ethics class. If you need that, you can text me or whatever, or Brian can share this graphic with you guys at the end. And kind of anything else, while we have grown, we really do Scott still runs our operation in his tennis shoes from Camp Bowie. It is still, we feel small even though we've gotten bigger. So I feel like it's been a fun way to get sort of more resources and more brains in the room with coming up with different things. But we are obviously still available to kind of help with whatever you guys need. And we love being in Fort Worth, and a lot of our operations are still coming out of this office. So
love working with Matt Cottle. If y'all haven't worked with them, please give them a shot. They're fantastic to work with.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. Thank you guys.
Thank you for coming. Hope your kids feel better. All right. Okay. Today our core value is going to kind of weave into what Jamey's going to be talking about. We are passionate about daily growing stronger, smarter, and more selfless. We want to see our team members flourish personally and grow constantly. We encourage and challenge each other to grow stronger physically, mentally, professionally, and emotionally as leaders to pursue selflessness. Our intent is that this growth does not terminate on ourselves, but is used to give back and serve our community and those with whom we interact. My spin, for us to grow, it's important that we always look for ways to better ourselves. It's easy to get bogged down in day-to-day activities. Looking ahead to 2025, now is the time to visualize who you will be, what your business will look like. 6Av's Vision Journal is a perfect opportunity to begin that journey. So we kind of wanted to tie all this in before we get to the end of the year, because when you get to January, all of a sudden we're going to be super busy. We're going to have a lot of New Year stuff going on, and there won't be time for us to dream. Now is the time to do this. Okay, announcements. case you didn't notice, the 2406 is going away in 2 weeks. 12 days from today, the 2406 will go away because the new contracts,
figured it out.
the new contracts are coming out, and that they changed the wording so that it will reflect what the 2406 said.
Yeah.
To that end, we are going to have Patricia Nicholson from the Baker firm come on the 11th. So next Wednesday, she'll be here for about a 20-minute spill, maybe 30 minutes. I'm just going to let her go as long as she needs to on the new contract that we'll start using 5 days after that. So that's on the calendar. If you haven't done your agent check-in, signed up for it, end of the year annual, it's not a requirement, but it's highly recommended. I would love to have a chance to check in with you. This is a time for you and I to, we can do it on Zoom, Google Meet, do it on the phone, we can do it in person. I don't care. It's just a chance for me to check in with you, see how you're doing, see how we're doing as an office, so that if there's any feedback, this is an opportunity for you to give that feedback to me, and then it kind of funnels up to Jamey, and you know how that goes. So please get on there. I put it on the Sunday night email. We'll be there every week. I'm doing the check-ins for 3 weeks in the afternoons a lot of times, so I'd love to talk to you. You don't have to, but I'd still love to see you. Have you finished your code of ethics? So
Yes,
everybody
I have.
started it. Everybody started it, but we need the people that haven't started it to finish it, or that haven't finished it, go ahead and finish. You have 27 days to finish that. So please get that done. Again, obviously, this Saturday is the extravaganza. We need setup people Friday from 10 to 2. Then we need people to come set up that morning, 9:30 a.m. on Saturday. Chance of rain, so we may be moving everything inside. We'll figure it out. The girls have a great plan. So if you can be here Friday 10 to 2, anytime you can drop by for just a little while, help us out. And then Saturday morning, we'll be here around 9 o'clock,
I
9:30.
will be here around 8:30.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and then we'll need some help cleaning up. So whatever you can jump in and help with, much appreciated.
And if you haven't signed up, you as personal agent and your family, please do have exact numbers or close to
Yeah.
numbers for
The,
food.
code or the, whatever it's called, the.
Yeah, I reopened it.
Okay.
For whatever reason closed, I had to
Yeah,
reopen it.
itself,
Yeah.
so.
The same form we're sending to our people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same. Everybody
Because
needs
no one
to,
had signed up on that except for Kyla.
everybody needs to sign up on that
Right.
form
Yeah, that's
that
on
you
file.
are coming with your spouse or kids or whatever. And then you send the same link to your clients.
Yeah.
I think we've been super clear with that.
Yeah, I did not know that.
Yeah, everybody that's coming on Saturday, we need to know.
Yeah.
Um,
We've allocated for 125 for food. We've got
100 and
100
something.
something on the list. So we really, if you are coming, your kids are coming, we just want to make sure we have enough for everyone.
Okay, let me reiterate this to everybody that's just joining online. In the chat, there are 3 things for you to go look at. They're PDFs. You can open them in browser windows, but we're going to be talking about the Vision Journal, the Habit Journal, and Jamey's Declarations. Those are available in the chat on Google Meet. If any of y'all here want to jump on the Google Meet on your phone, you're welcome to do that and see those. We're going to give you the Vision Journal. Okay, so then Sunday is our Christmas party. We have some really great surprises for you. We have some really great food coming. There will be margaritas, and we need everybody to be there around 6 o'clock at Joe T. Garcia's, right across the street from the main entrance. It's a little chapel. Love where seat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like church one.
Little church. Yeah, something like that. So, but that starts at 6 o'clock on Sunday. So, and it's a festive cocktail for everyone that's coming. Dressing your best. Raymond. Hello, Michelle. Okay, certified full service professional is the 17th. So 2 weeks from yesterday, we will be doing the final certified full service professional. Love to have you here, but if you need to join virtually, it's the same difference to me. We're not, I think we have to take some kind of a test, so I don't know what that means. We'll figure that out.
They're not seeing the PDF. They said.
I've not seen the PDFs either. Okay, let me, it's in the chat. Let me see if I
If
can.
they join the chat, or if they join the call later, they wouldn't see the old messages. Maybe.
Okay, maybe then let me just recopy this, and then I'll put this down at the
Yeah,
bottom.
they just really need the first one for now.
Just the first one for now. Got it. Okay.
You can copy them all, but we're just gonna really be going over the first one.
Okay, so Jamie said the first one's the main one. Copy them all. So you've got them. And there you go.
Can't hear.
That was a while ago. For some reason, the audio shut down. Okay, a couple more things that we get here. Okay, so this is the reminder about the anti-car code of ethics. This is what happens if you don't satisfy it. They will suspend your membership on January 1st. They will terminate your membership on March 1st. So it's mandatory that you get code of ethics done. Pending home sales rose in October for the third straight month, and we are up more than 5% year over year. Jamie, I'm showing. Okay, that's what it is. Home sales didn't fare so well, down over 17% as two hurricanes delayed sales in the south. Good news for buyers, the median new home sales price is down 5%, and completions are up to 65% versus 2022. One thing I wanted to show you guys from last week, Friday Boost, pushed some things up. There's some other numbers here that this will be in my slides this afternoon. Rates went down slightly last week, so that's a good thing. They're going to hover between 5.5 and 6.5. That's the new norm. Everybody needs to understand that. They're not going back to 4.5. They're not going up to 9. They're going to stay between 5.5 and 6.5. That's going to be moving forward. That's what you need to be preaching to everybody. If you're getting 6.5 to 7, that's still okay. It's a little high, but it's not 17 that we had in 1982. Okay. This week's forecast: construction spending, mortgage applications. We'll see the new MBA mortgage applications index that's coming out. The one from last week went up like 12%. So mortgage applications were up, and Liz was saying they got like 20 refis on by Saturday after the election. So people are starting to move around. Federal Reserve Watch, nothing's changed. We're expecting a 1/4 point. Again, that does not affect mortgage rates directly. It's an indirect relationship. We watch the 10-year Treasury note. The Fed rate does affect the Treasury notes, which in turn will affect us. So a 1/4 point does not mean, oh, it's going from 7 to 6 3/4. That's not how it works. Okay. They're already baking these into the rates that are coming because the Fed's meeting next week. So these 1/4 point rates are already baked in. That's what they're expecting. Okay. Business tip of the week from Warren Buffett. Generally speaking, investing in yourself is the best thing you can do. Anything that improves your own talents, nobody can tax it or take it away from you. If you've maximized your talent, you've got a tremendous asset that can return tenfold. That's from Warren Buffett. There's nothing wrong with anything that man does. He does some good stuff. I know he does bad stuff too, but you know what I'm saying? He's one of those guys that knows how to make money. Serious home buyers are showing up. The Mortgage Banker Association last week, the seasonally adjusted index of purchase applications shot up 12% from the week before. So this is maybe it's a little bit of a ripple of a wave that's coming, but I think it's something that we need to be preaching on, telling people, hey, if you're looking to get a deal, now is the time because it's about to go away. 2025, they're saying it's going to be ridiculous.
I hope so.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I don't want to do it.
our founder and the visionary for 6 Ave Homes, Mr. Jamey.
All right, so let's pass these out. So this is this is not like me teaching. This is more just like blocking some time to go through this thing. So a lot of y'all came from here last year we did it. But last year I just like went through it really quick, and so I wanted to give some time to like sit and do it. So let's pass it out, and then I'll also say like. So I'm going to go through like each section and then just break out so we can have a little turn.
Yeah.
Or also,
Give Greg the bag on. I give Greg.
Yeah. No, I'm a pin girl.
Yeah.
You want a pin? It's a good pin. Good pin. Good pin.
Yeah, those on my pin. Oh,
you know, I don't know grammar.
I just was wondering.
It looks good to me.
It's not. Really not.
If you
What's
like
it?
to shoot a
Yeah,
ten
well.
two,
Oh,
Also,
I don't see.
we know what you meant.
My brain doesn't see.
You can put the number too.
Yeah.
What? You said a text too.
And then there's, then you write a riddle on the inside.
You have control if you want to present that.
Okay.
Super annoying.
Anyway.
I love it.
I ordered a lot.
There she is.
Nothing.
So, so the other thing I'll say, like, when we're basically like, I'm gonna talk a little bit and then we're gonna work a little bit. So if you want to move and like be alone, if you want to like go in the podcast room for a little bit or go in the couch, like, feel free to spread out and move around. Like, I get ADD and have to move around. And so if you're like feeling I have to sit here, like, spread out and be comfortable, because the whole point of this is to have some time. So I wanted to kick us out just with the part of the reason I did this was I did this whole thing last year. I like made this and then I never did it. I like kept saying I would and then like didn't. And so I currently feel like this past 6 months have just been a roller coaster. And I just feel like I've been busy. And whenever that happens, I just feel like it's what I call like the drift, where I'm just like floating around at the mercy of work and at the mercy of busyness, and everything's just like the kids. It just feels so busy, and so I'm doing this like selfishly because like I wanted to like block some time on my calendar to like sit down and go sit on the couch and like think and work a little bit, and I assumed that you would want that as well. Yeah, let's just take that. Yeah, we can totally. And again, whenever we kick start, we can. So the sentiment here is a couple things. One, I made this kind of like selfishly for me. Like several years ago, I really like. I feel like when I have clarity of like what am I doing, what are my priorities, what am I focusing on, what am I believe, what like of my schedule. Everything just feels better, and so I've done bought a bunch of different goal setting books, and this is essentially like a combination of like a lot of books I've read, and I've kind of like stolen things from and just made my own little thing. And so I made this a few years ago, and then tweaked it over time. And so the goal here, the sentiment here is like we want 2025 to be our best year ever. Our best year yet. Like we want it to be better than 2024. And some of you probably had a great 2024. Some of you probably had a mediocre 2024. Some of you might have had a really crappy 2024. But you don't change where you're at or go where you want to go on accident. It never happens if you're caught up in the drift. Like you don't wake up and go, this is what I want to be. It takes intentionality. It takes, and I always love the illustration of, you know, are you a thermometer where you're measuring the temperature, or are you the thermostat where you're setting the temperature? And so the sentiment here is like, can we set the temperature a little bit of what next year looks like? And that doesn't happen. An accident doesn't happen without time. And also, I love like breakthroughs. I don't know if you've ever had those moments like this is kind of a breakthrough for me. But breakthroughs are also like I've pivoted that phrase to more like a break from. Because generally a breakthrough is you're changing the way you were thinking about something, or you're changing what you were doing. You're really breaking from something else. And so part of this, my hope is like, you're thinking about like, what do I want to break from, or I want to break through in? And again, none of it happens on accident. So this is just nothing magic about it. It's just, let me ask you some questions, or ask yourself some questions, and you can sit alone with your thoughts and dream a little bit. And then how can I create actions that help facilitate where I want to go? Well, actually, I'll go ahead. So without further ado, is that weird that I'm right here? Let's dive into this. So this is broken up into several different sections. In this first section, everyone turn to the 7 layers deep exercise. We get specific goals, a lot of kind of like dreaming in here. But the first part, the 7 layers deep exercise, is essentially just asking yourself, as you think about 2025, what do I want? Like, why is, like, all of y'all are here, all of you are agents, all of you listen to Brian, all of you like put in the work because you want to be successful. And so the 7 layers deep exercise is really getting clarity on your why. Like, why do you want to be successful? Why do you want more? Why do you want 2025 to be more? And so, and generally, when you get clarity on your why, it helps motivate you. Like, why do I want this? Why am I putting in all this work? Why is a powerful motivator? And so this first exercise, the 7 layers deep. Also, if you're online, are you able to get the PDF? Give me a thumbs up.
Is there, so is the
But yeah,
PDF?
somebody.
Yeah, there's a PDF version. So I also I have mine on my little tablet.
On the tablet version.
Yeah, so you can put it on your tablet. So I have mine on my tablet. There's a PDF version. So it's basically asking yourself this, and again, we'll take a little break after this on it, is why is it important to become successful? Here's just an example. What I want to be successful to make more money. And so then forcing yourself to ask questions, why is that important? Why do you want to make more money? Debt. Why is that important? Why is getting out of debt important? To stop working so hard to pay someone else. Why is that important? Because I want to do things in my life, etc. So here's a few examples. I want to have freedom, so my family won't have to worry, so I can enjoy my life now and be present with the kids instead of some future retirement. So I can anyways, it's just asking yourself why. So before we get into habits and specific goals, we'd love to just have you take a little bit of time and just ask yourself these questions. And generally, when you get to this 7th level, it's just that's your why. That's your big motivation. So all the things, has everyone got a pen? So let's just take 5-10 minutes. We'll kind of break until everybody feels like they've kind of just back in. And again, if you want to get out of here and spread out until the pen.
That's not me here.
Is that important?
Are you trying it already? It it did okay, but look, we did that one first time, pick them up. No, it's that bit.
No, she is. I'm like,
I've already done this thing.
yeah, we did this
Already
last
did
year.
this,
Oh,
though.
yeah,
Yeah,
and about a
yeah.
month ago. I didn't write it down. Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
we
we
did.
did.
So I have to do goals.
All right, how are we feeling? Need a little more time? One left, okay. All right.
Was anyone kind of surprised by their final couple of answers?
I wasn't really surprised, but it was interesting to get there and the thought process of going. In my mind, I've always done it, but like, I always just went from 1 to 7, really. And the real thought as to why it goes through that whole step.
Did they have to share them?
I think I would share sort of my level 1 to 7 is like, I did the reverse in my 30s, I think, and I took care of everyone else. I didn't take care of myself. And I think like my growth and development, like in my 40s, is like I absolutely have to be physically and mentally healthy and grounded and disciplined. And the more grounded I am, the better off everyone in my life and relationships are, because I have something to give instead of being depleted. So that's kind of like, it's kind of just watching, because like, you know, obviously like a couple of years ago, like I was in a much different, like obviously economy, business, you know, stocks and things like that, like took a hard crash a couple of years ago, and kind of, I think these years have humbled me to be like, okay, like what's really important. And I just think it's kind of like, because at the root of it, it's like me being healthy physically and mentally, like leads to everything else. So for sure.
I want to talk about what I put. I actually was on a couple of meetings yesterday because I went to this convention and I ended up meeting some people. And long story short, I actually did this, but just not the 7 steps, just yesterday. And I had a breakthrough for the first time in my whole life. I couldn't, so I wanted to just tell you because it was really cool. For me, I was a single mom whenever I was young for 7 years, 19 when I got pregnant in college. So I didn't realize until midlife crisis. I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's amazing. You should not do it. But I
It's
was
a great discovery period.
yeah, no one prepares you for your mid-40s. Anyway, I realized that I had trauma from raising a child by myself. Who knew? Anyway, and so then I started realizing my purpose in life really wasn't anything to do with kids, because I thought it was just like raising my kid and being the best mom and being a good example. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with spreading the gospel. And so I have a vision for my life. The reason I want to make money and the reason I want to be successful is so that I can have time freedom, so I can spread the gospel. And it might be just to my kids or my family, but it might be to the whole entire world. I don't have any idea, but I know that my purpose has nothing to do with real estate. I was in education for 17 years, and children are not my favorite. And I taught your people's children math and business, and I taught them audio, video tech. I taught them not to be bad.
Yes.
For 9 years, I taught felon children how to be better, but it was only just to spread the gospel. And I didn't realize that until I got out of education and got into real estate. Real estate is my vehicle to help others. So that's my vision for me, which I know that's deep, but that's something I recently discovered. Thanks. Really good.
One more person want to share?
I can just not, we don't have to go through the whole thing, but had a really hard 2 years, and a lot of change has happened in a lot of every area of my life. Like real estate is, I know it kind of been the only consistent, and then that tanked out for me this year, so it's been really fun. But I think at the end of this, like Chris and I have had a hard time. Chris has experienced a lot of loss over the last couple of years. I've obviously in turn also experienced a lot of that, and so like to be successful for me right now is just to enjoy like this time with my family, because I'll never get this back. Like we didn't want children, like that was never in our plans, and so the likelihood of us having another child is really low. And so, you know, there are parts of my life where I look back, and my pregnancy was not fun. Like it was okay for me, but where we were at in life was not fun. The first year of Remington's life was really hard. And so just like I really want to change the course of that. Like I really want to enjoy the rest of this time while we can, because we'll never get back.
It was. You posted something about that the other day,
Yeah, I saw that.
just about how time flies.
Yeah, and that's my 7th was why I want to make money, so I don't have to worry, why I don't want to not worry. I have like, it was really because I have this short season with my kiddos and I just want to enjoy it. I don't want to be stressed. I don't want to be consumed.
Right.
I just want to I want to spend this time with them without having to stress about the roller coaster.
That's what I think was number 3 for me, was to relieve the stress of always needing more. Like that next thing, like, okay, great, like we have closing, but when's the next one? Like, when's the next paycheck coming? When is, like, just to end that so that there's not the stress of, you can just be present where you're at, where I'm at.
Angela, I think you raised your hand.
Yeah, I did. I love exercises like this, Jamey, by the way, because it really allows for me to peel the layers of whatever it is, because sometimes when you're looking outwardly, you forget to look inwardly, right? So this exercise really peeled a lot of layers for me, and with that, it's like, success is not really just having to depend on someone to take care of me. And the last bit of that is to allow me to have more opportunities to expand my mind and heart, because I believe an expanded mind and heart makes room for benevolence. So truly, when we are overflowing, not just, pockets, it frees us up to also open our minds and hearts so that we have the ability and the freedom to look at others and help them out as well. So that was a good reminder for me. Thank you.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Cool. Let's go to the next section. Good stuff, guys. So this next section is, I call it the vision section. And this is less like goals right here and now. It's like, where do I want to be in 1 year, 3 year, and in 5 years? And so there's a couple lines on here that I really love. Fate is a terrible writer. Again, like when you're in the drift and you just let life happen, it doesn't write the story you want it to write. And it's also really hard to write the story you want to write if you don't have clarity on like what that is. And so I did something similar to this a couple months ago, where I was like, what if in 5 years, what's like my number one main thing I want to accomplish? And I was kind of really surprised by the answer. And it has since given me clarity on things I say yes and things I say no to. I recently had, like, just to give you a more specific example, like I recently had a bunch of people approach me and say, Jamey, you should run for city council. Like the mayor called me and I was like, oh, that sounds, wasn't off my radar, but that sounds really fun. That sounds, but then I was like, initially I was like, oh, people want me, I would have influence. But then I just really done this exercise of like, what do I want my next 5 years? Like, what's the thing I want my next 5 years? And I was like, this isn't anywhere on there. And if my goal is X, Y, Z, like this doesn't help me get to my goal. And so I said no to that. It took me a couple months. I was like, should I do this? This is like, but having it written down of like, what is my 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, like gave me the guardrails to like, this is not in your 5 year plan. You need to say no. Like, what do I say no to? What do I say yes to? What do I invest my time in? Who do I invest my time in? And so this next exercise is really just kind of at high level, personally, like who do you want to be as a person? What type of person you want to be, like any personal things you want to do or experience or have professionally, like where do you want to be? Real estate or not in real estate, or retired from real estate, or doing something else, like do you always want to be a doctor? Professionally, where do you want to be in 1 year, 3 year, 5 year? Financially, what is like financial goals 1 year, 3 year, 5 year? Health, like who do I want to, like are there health things I want to happen? Like and so this is goal setting. This 6 months I'm going to do this. This is more just like what do I want my future self to be like? And just having a couple little different categories, I think, helps me sort of think about it. And so there's A, B, C. You don't have to do all of those. You might just have one thing. You might have nothing. Like, but would love to just break out for a second again and just have you kind of work through this. And then the sentiment is once you have this, we can work once we get to the goals, like what are our goals for 2025, the next quarter, you kind of reverse engineer. So in the same way we do with Sixth Avenue, or it's like, what are our 1 year goals, our 3 year goals? Our 90-day goals always correlate. We're reverse engineering our path to get to the thing. So, any questions about any of that? Let's do it. Break it out.
ADHD, it is so hard to whittle down. It is so hard to figure out where to start.
Oh, I know, you're like, it's not goal setting. I'm like, what is it?
Going on.
Yeah.
I mean,
Does that go at the end or does that go?
When we get to the goal setting, it's more like specific,
Yeah.
like now measurable.
Yeah, smart goals.
Yeah.
Anybody want to run a marathon with me in the next 5 minutes?
I mean, can we start out, we're walking along.
I said 5 years. Like,
I mean, I could do like I'm a fast walker.
no, my 1 year goal is like be able to run 2 miles again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like small.
Yeah.
You journal? Okay.
Dan and I am cheating. That's kind of where mine was heading. I didn't realize it was gonna head there, but it did. I was making some Dutchman and I didn't.
If your 3 year goals don't match your 1 year goals. What? Just so kind of like it's building blocks, right? If I do this year, then next year I can implement that.
Right. They shouldn't be the same. That would be.
I mean, not exactly the same, but do they always have to be like stair steps?
I didn't
What do you
know.
know?
What do I know?
The flexible.
No, I have plenty in the house. I need to figure out things in here. Well, I don't want to keep them in my garage. Okay. I have a barrel in my garage to look at too.
What?
I don't know. It's some cow thing. I'm not sure. But I don't know anymore.
Great. Okay.
Like, see, come on, you didn't waste your time. Which one, Berlin? Oh, different things. I'm fixing it. I'm fixing color line. I'm done. I am. I'm fixing the fire then. Well, I don't have time to play. Should be a landlord if that would be.
But it needs to be one video, right?
Oh, yes.
It's not traditional, too much for it. No, I think it's functional. Yeah.
There's like 2 pages.
I gotta gather, so I need to.
They're picky. I mean, we're one of the only ones picky and have a deal right now.
You think that would have been?
That's like when Victoria put that much in the slab yesterday, like both of my houses, like I wanted to get one here, and it's just like, no, getting good feedback, but people just start going, they need the cash to purchase. I did not know Victoria.
Like, no, I'm asking about.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, the whole street is,
Yeah.
the whole street is Airbnb.
So do they have, okay, then I can look up how much they're charging and all
Yeah.
and do some.
Yeah, I wouldn't be afraid to make an offer.
Okay.
I'm just saying. We had lots of conversations.
I never heard back from one investor. Not Brian's guy, but the other guy. Oh, I never sent you those investors.
Oh.
Yeah, I
What's
have
his
my
name?
list. I'll make a list and send them to you.
Francis is that.
The one that knows like the one that knows Sarah Ashley and Mama, Melissa Ashley.
Francis, I don't know if they know Melissa, but they know Francis.
Do they?
Remember, we met her at TR on the street. That one lady with the hut.
Do they have a mortgage? No. It's cash. I mean, they pay cash. Her on the one that the investor special. Oh, I don't know how that works. No, I'm asking, do your seller? Yeah, it's they pay cash for it. They pay cash for it. Okay. Could be someone that I worked for it to, yeah, nothing. Okay. Yeah, and also, two of them had really good offers. It's just The one in part, the one in part one. Yes, I can't, he has mortgage and second mortgage and foundation he has to pay. He just has to money, he can't. I think my goals.
It's a spell for my goals.
Mhm.
So one of my goals should be to learn how to spell.
They found your one.
Yeah.
Also, if you feel rushed, you don't have to have it finished today. Sometimes you need to like take it back and think on it and do a lot of it. A lot of times I'll like start it and I'll tweak it again another night, tweak it all again. And it only takes me a few weeks to like, okay, here's.
I just need to put it on my wall. I mean, like, I need the visual aid, because like, what are the stats for people that like have visual goals?
I have, they meet their goals, like, I don't know, like, what, I don't remember what it
I
is.
need to spend time
more
out.
often or something.
Yeah, did I ever show you my little, I'll show you.
We have like a vision board.
I was gonna ask if people were still doing vision boards. Is
I
that
think
still
so,
a
like,
thing?
I think it's a thing, and,
Because
I think the pictures, like, I'm a picture person and seeing it.
Do y'all want to do vision boards?
I do.
Let's do that. Let's have a
I'm in
vision
for
board
vision board
day.
day. Especially after we get through doing this, then we'll know, and then we can come together and build our vision.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's
board.
fine to me.
Holding you accountable to that.
Yeah. I hope it rains.
Friday. I hope it rains on Friday too. I totally don't want to
okay.
dress as.
Ron wants
I
me
do,
to. Ron
just.
What is,
I just want to take a picture and
what
go away.
is holiday, what is the attire? Is it like
So I'll
anthem
show
or?
Are
you
you talking about
Sunday?
Sunday? I wanted a red dress.
Okay.
So
So
this is
guys
my
can be
vision
in like.
board.
I want
Oh,
to
that's cute.
Yes, so
Yes.
Keith is wearing jeans, a black shirt, and a houndstooth.
So I do have a little like vision, like where it has my 6 months, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. And I like, so, and this is, we're going to go through this little exercise here in a little bit. And I print out like 30 of these and I just stick them. Like, a
Yeah.
couple in my office, a couple in my journal, a couple in my Bible, even in my computer case.
Yeah.
So to Tasha's point though, her, like over time, hers has changed. So like to say today, my 1 year, that's pretty doable for me. I mean, it's like right here in front of us, it's happening. 3, depending maybe on circumstance, that may change a little.
Yeah, mine, I update mine every year.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say, you know, if 5 years from now, I'm like, yeah, that's what I want to do.
Yeah,
That's what I do, but
it totally, and that's kind of why once a year it's like
Yeah.
visiting.
Yeah.
Is that true?
I think it really I know it's kind of silly, but like I thought about it, like print out a little card, like the Phoenix thing, Brad,
Yeah.
you're talking about like 2 hours a day,
That-
4 days a week,
I need a home.
3 weeks, 3 weeks a month, 8 months a year to like give the business you want, because some days I wake up obviously and like prospecting is not my number one thing. But then like, I'm like, by the end of the day, I'm like, okay, 8 o'clock at night, but I can do something to interact, whatever. But I think to have like, I thought about printing those little cards just to be like, okay, I'll get to it today. Because like I had that last week, but I'm like, I really don't want to do anything. But then I thought, oh, okay, like every day I'd be like, I'm gonna reach out to so-and-so and ask them about this or that or follow up or whatever.
Does anybody want to share a big 5-year that people might not know?
Janet and I want to retire.
Yeah?
In the next 5 years?
That's why I'm running
Really?
background.
Okay.
Actually, mine for 5 year was then have a retirement plan in place. Like, so in 5 years, I'd like to possibly, the next 5 years.
I think a big 5-year goal for me is that, you know, I have one kid that's graduated from high school in a couple of years. I mean, I guess 2.5 more years, I'm gonna have another one. And I really want to have the financial stability and the obviously advice to be like, hey, I want you to do things differently than I did. Like, because I had to check the boxes. Like that was just my family plan is like, go to college, get a job, buy a house. Like my brother and I laugh about checking the boxes because we checked all the boxes and then we're like, wait a minute, we way overthought this because we both went to school and like he finished grad school. I did not, I dropped out. But just things like that where I would like, I mean, like for example, like Coulter's working, he's making really good, like damn good money for an 18-year-old. And I'm like, his 2-year goal is, I'm like, we are buying you a house in 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, that's like, I want him to like start a financial portfolio by the time he's like 21. I'm like, we can buy a house, but it has to be a fancy house. You don't have to live in it, but let's start there. I mean, ultimately, so when he wants to have kids and get married, like he has the freedom to raise his kids. So like, that would be my 5-year goal, to prep them to do better than I did.
That's amazing.
If they'll listen.
Well, you can always call and talk to him.
I'm always like,
Always talk to him about
because I'm there now, and I'm like, please listen to me in there.
It's like yesterday, she like interrupts on the phone, so I was like, Colton, you take care of yourself, and Holly's like, go take some medicine.
Yeah, they don't listen, unfortunately.
Anybody else have a 5-year they want to share?
Like what age? 30?
No, some of them don't even at
It's
30.
like I was gonna say,
Mine's
mine,
21. And I want him just to listen to me. Yeah.
Give us another.
I was about to say, because the psychiatrist told me the ego like phases out and the egocentric phases out about 22 or 23.
Yeah,
So start thinking about others.
Mine was 24.
Yeah.
I've got a 30-year-old that's saying, right?
I have 2 girls, so I have a 30-year-old son. And
Oh, you do?
yeah, so I'm sitting here going 30.
I didn't know you had a
Okay.
30-year-old.
Got our own challenges there.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to this next section in your book. Let's clarify. So this section is really, it just asks some fun questions. It's really about like, who do you want to be and who are you when you're showing up your best? So this was a fun exercise of just asking a few, like 3 words to describe my best self. So like when I'm my best, how would people describe me? How would I describe me? Like what are some words to describe like who I want to be when I'm like feeling good and I'm
Feeling it?
in my sweet spot? Some ideas for how I can embody these words more. And you know, like one of mine is joy. You know, like how that's something I want to have more joy. I want to feel more joy. I want to be more joy. How can I embody that? Social. What are 3 words that define how I want to treat other people? Like how I want to impact other people. And then who are some people in my life whom I can improve my interactions with? Skills. 5 skills I'm trying to develop most in my life right now are, it might not be 5, it might be like 1, it might be like 2. And this, you know, this could literally be, you know, encouraging people. It could be being a dad, or it could be like learning jujitsu, or you know, something, cooking. Service is the ways that you can add value to those around you. How can you add value to those around you? And this next little page is talks about like feelings. What are the feelings I want to cultivate in my life, relationships, and work? How do you generate feelings? Because a lot of times we think of feelings as these passive things that just sort of happen, but you can choose to like, do I want to feel grateful when I come into this? Do I want to feel anxious? Or do I want like, how do I want to feel like on vacation, Thanksgiving with my kids and family? I was like, I want to not be critical. I want to be encouraging. I want to like have more joy. Find what's meaningful. This is a really hard question. How long do you want to have lived by the time you pass? Like, what age do you want to die at? Like,
82.
how much more time?
94.
82.
Um,
Oh, girl, you should be already
My
40.
grandparents are in their mid-80s.
82. I have to know my familial history.
Anyway, so some fun questions here. You don't have to answer them all, but it's just fun, like things to think about that take us out of the monotony of our daily duty. We're just going through work. We're just busy. So break out again.
You better hurry up with that fire.
An exit plan.
How many things that is through your plan? I just don't have.
I can't lie. Dude, my grandma was 94, lived by herself, like went to her clubs every day, never had a driver's license.
See, that's how my grandmother that passed away in June was like that. Like she didn't.
I mean, like COVID is what, like my
dad's
dad, because
mom.
everyone shut down.
I mean, my dad's mom died at 64.
I thought my grandparents, they're like
My dad died
86
at
and 87.
67.
You couldn't tell. You would
No.
think they're in their 60s.
Same.
And I told, my grandpa scares me with some stuff. He's like, but I know the minute that I stop.
Right. That's, I mean, because I have, my dad is, like, I have whole parents. And my dad.
Oh, wow.
Do what? Is that right? That doesn't seem right.
Yes. How's your mom? I would not think your mom was that old.
Yeah, 80 this year. No, my mom's 67, 68. Yeah. But my dad literally like, he works 3 days. Yeah, like he like manual labor, like renovates houses.
Yes,
And I'm like, Dad,
Yes.
you gotta stop. And he's like, 80. He'll be 80 in July.
Your dad is 80 and your mom's 68?
Mhm.
They were a lot older when they had you.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
dad.
What about your siblings? Do you have siblings? How old are they?
So on my dad's kids, the oldest to the youngest is almost exactly 30 years.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Yep. So my little sister and I are 2.5 years apart. And then the next one is 9 years older than me. And then like my next sister is probably like 5 years older than her.
Wow.
2, 3 more years older than her. And then the older two are like 50, mid-50s.
Well, that's the same as my sister and my younger sisters. The gap. Yeah. 42, 43 and 26. I guess it's not quite 30 years, but yeah,
Almost 20.
Yeah.
It's wild. Live on some.
Sort of sometimes. Yep, sounds like it. Good times.
This rest is not.
it
It
is
is.
relaxation like that, like calmness.
Trying to think what the right word for that
Yeah.
feeling is. Peace.
Yeah, so that's what I put on one of mine is joy, peace. Yep.
When I start writing this down, it makes me feel like I'm a grouch.
I was like,
Oh.
so it's, yeah, I'm like over here, I'm like, oh,
Be present, be more patient. What did you say? Being more present, being more patient? I think that's right now. The first one. When you get older kids and they're like teenagers, you're like, God, I'm like, this morning, I'm like, brush your teeth. Did you brush your? I'm like, oh my God, how old are we?
well, and then they get mad at you for nagging, and I'm like, well, I wouldn't have to nag if you would have done it the first 1 or 2 times I asked.
Yeah. And the phone, yeah. Like, did you hear her? Yeah, I listened to her. Hear her? Her makes me go to elementary school crying this morning. I know by the time my third kid rolls out of the door at the same elementary school, they're like, oh, I know what kind of morning was this kid? You know what I'm talking about. You're like, get out. They're like, oh. And then you're like, love you. So my daughter, yeah, she didn't get her way about something. Or about stop at Starbucks. Oh, yeah. Every teenage daughter needs to walk in the school to Starbucks. Oh, why?
White girl.
The black girl. No, I don't walk into Starbucks. That's what I know. Every day. That, boys are not easier though. Mine are not. My children are very complex in very different ways. Like Friday, going for the sweater doesn't feel good. I get this call by 11:30. It's like, no, I don't feel good today. Okay, so I forgot all of this morning. Okay, and so I'm like, Keith, go. And he's like, where are we going? I'm like, we're going forward, getting a hamburger and taking this medicine. He's like, same thing. What would be the skill of routine? Like
Time management.
time
Blocking. Habits.
protection? I think you're really supposed to not time manage because you can't manage time. It's supposed to be priority management.
Well,
Told us that. Like, oh,
yeah.
maybe just family management. So I want to implement a bit of, I want to have more routine. And what, like, night routine or, I mean, just in general, like, just not feeling like this all the time. Like, yeah, that's how I feel. Like, I feel it's just like, say like life is messy.
Literally, well, like the only day right now that I have that I can work on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
So then I'm like from 8:30 to 2:30, I'm jamming everything in for the last week. So that obviously that doesn't work.
Well, it's not even time management, it's just you don't have the capacity,
No.
margin.
I need to.
You need margin.
What time does everything go to bed?
With us.
Oh, so like at 10, that would be my number one thing out there. Especially if I'm paying my mother's. I'm not telling you how to mother you do. But well, I've done all three.
No, I literally, like, I had this conversation with one of my friends the other day. I was like, actually, one of my doctors was like, it's a fucking, sorry, a like vicious cycle. Cause it's like, this affects this, this affects this, this affects this.
But it's just always, I mean, but it's just the same. I mean, I won't say it's like the same thing, but it's like the same boundaries that like in my house where I have older kids that don't go to bed and I still have to make them like make me crazy. So I would be like,
See, and it's not even that, like, I don't mind them staying up late, but it's like, I need more help during the day. And I need it, like, I find childcare because everywhere is on a wait list, or it's so expensive that I can't afford it. Or justify it rather, because
do you have any other mom friends that I'm saying like have like similar?
the only one that I was like, she offered, she's like, we have somebody coming in, she was in Godly. Like, by the time I drive to Godly and that to drop them off, I was like,
like Willow Park.
I literally, there was a school out there that like I had an interview with, and not interview, but a tour with, and I got in the car and started driving, and I was like, this is a 25-minute drive one way. That makes no sense. Because again, it's like by the time I get there, drop him off and turn around, have to pick him up.
So
an
now
hour,
then?
15 months.
You need to find somebody that has like
Yeah, that's what
a person that's doing like online school, like a college girl or something.
Yeah, I
That
mean-
wants to be in education or something.
Yeah, and I've talked to like, when I say dozens of people, and I've set up appointments, I've set up like interviews. With one girl brought her kids to the interview and was like, I don't have to bring them with me all the time. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what in you thought that that was appropriate? Like, no, we don't want your
I
children.
would say, I would kind of find like a stay-at-home mom that just wants to make some extra income, that you could be like, hey,
That's what you did, didn't you?
$500
The coach's wife?
yeah, when I had Bowen, my mom kept him for a while. Well, that's why I moved to Mansfield for a hot minute. But, I mean, the other two were in school, and then, my mom kept him for a while, and then I don't like to be dependent on family. And so, eventually, like Coulter's baseball coach would watch Bowen like 2 days a week for like 4 or 5 hours.
Well, we have somewhere that we're getting approval on, so I'm like hoping that comes through.
And that really did, that made all the difference for me when the boys were little. It just the 2 or 3 days a week that I could get office work done, and then like I could do appointments nights, weekends. things like that.
Right.
So I think you just need margin.
Yeah.
That's what you need,
That's not a skill though, creating.
creating margin. But your biggest thing is you need time.
Cause I was about to say, like, putting him on a bedtime routine, which, I mean, like, my oldest child is still regimented, he's still regimented.
You need like, you need like 2 or 3 more transactions next year, and then you can just hire a nanny. Like, you need more
That's what I'm saying,
transactions,
it's like,
you just need
It's
more
just
money.
all is
More
like.
money will
But
pay
there's just a lot
for
of
more
things.
time.
I was gonna say, but there's just
That's
a
what I'm
lot of
saying,
things
I can
that, you know, like, if he went to bed at 8 o'clock at night, you can create content, write newsletters.
I'm not going to,
No,
not that, no.
Not at night.
Not at night.
See, my brain shuts off at 8 too, like, I don't want
But I
to
also
think about
am like,
work.
I'm not willing to wake up at 5.
Yeah.
yeah. Cause I mean, that's some things I used to do.
But what is the word for that skill? Like, what would that be? Like, it's not time management, balance, that's a fake word.
That's like saying margin, creating margin and things like that, you do have to work at that.
I think it's prioritization.
Yeah.
'Cause you can't manage time, but you can manage what you see.
Is he the one that told us that?
Maybe. Are you the one that told me about priority? It's not
Yeah, but how do you
time
say no to
management,
your mother and your child?
You can't say no to that, but like, but if a priority is alone time,
Yeah.
and priority is like, if you're the type, like, some people don't need that, like. I'm
No,
the
I
person,
do, like, I definitely need,
But if you're the person that needs
yeah,
you time, like, that doesn't, it's not, no one's gonna do that for you.
right.
Wait, when during the day does your brain work the best that Chris is also home? Never.
Ding, ding, ding.
Never? Okay,
And
yeah, cause I
eventually,
was like,
I need alone time.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so like ex-musician, like I now go to bed at like
Yeah.
9.
Yeah, and we have to lately. That's the thing, is like, we're just so overextended.
I woke up at 5 today, because I'm like, this is my alone time where I can work
Yeah.
out, journal.
Well, and I think another thing is like just the mindset of having a toddler, baby, whatever, where you feel like if you're present with them, you need to be present with them. But then, you know, my mom would always tell me like balance should be like, it's quality over quantity. Like just because you're present with them, them, whatever, all the time, doesn't mean they're getting anything from you.
And that
So
season,
you're
you're
not
so
mentally.
yeah.
All right, wherever you're at, just pause it for now. Again, you can go work, you know, does anybody have any that was like, this was fun or surprising or I was excited about, or you'd be up for sharing? Like any specific question?
The last one kind of sucked a little.
What was it?
What do you want people to feel in the day that you're gone?
What'd you say?
How much I value and love them. That's what I said, that I love. I think that sometimes I get caught up in the to-dos and work and closings and helping people that my family sometimes forgets that I'm doing it all for them and for that legacy.
See, I see you as like one of the best moms I know. So there's that.
Oh.
She spends all the time with her kids.
Tunnel vision. I get tunnel vision. But sharing with your vision with your family so that they are reminded. Yeah, that's all what we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all weaved in this today. I'm like, whew, they don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
They
I
don't
think,
know.
I don't know, because I know like my, what is it? my love language is like, I need like words of encouragement or like things like that. And like, my husband is like the least person to like, he's just not like
Yeah.
his family wasn't like that. He's not built like that. Of course, I grew up with a dad that was always like, "Oh my gosh, touch your," like, and always pushing and motivating me. And so like that's been like a rift of us like growing older and like trying to push myself and stuff. Where I'm like, I need you, and like to say this if you won't, but then I have to understand his love language is acts of service. Like he's the type that he's like, your water's by your bed, like things like that, or I already got your oil changed. Like I did that on my way home, things like that. Or like I don't have to think about things, but then I take for granted those things. So I think sometimes it's just
That's on mine too, is what was it, how to like work on this is communicating where they are.
Yeah.
So like
That's hard.
love language is hard because you're like, but this is my love language.
Yeah.
And that's not everybody's, or when they're
Yeah.
communicating.
But you have to learn
you're not.
theirs. And
Yeah,
you
you
have to
do.
be sensitive, like what she was just saying. He has to learn hers. He can't just keep giving access to
Work in progress, girl.
Yeah.
He's got
Yeah.
to do the words of affirmation or it's not going to be received.
Mhm.
And then she has to learn how to recognize his acts of service to receive as well.
Right.
Yeah, that's tough.
Anybody else have a question that hit them you're excited about, or a little bit of aha?
Well, that wasn't the last one. Here's one picture. Great. That's one of them.
Still need to be in therapy. That's what I realized.
Buddy,
Get my
sorry.
brain out of
Yeah.
therapy.
It's not a bad thing.
No, I don't either. That's what I'm
I
saying.
love to go tell
I
everybody
want
like,
personal growth.
let me take all
this therapy.
That's a great thing.
Holly.
Can we have a
God bless her.
podcast room
She
and
is
a therapist?
And
Yeah.
there we
Yeah.
go.
Like, we just signed up for our 20-minute session.
Full-time therapist in here.
Our therapist would be like,
I know.
y'all are all next.
She's like, and we quit.
I need more money.
I think it's big from a place of having done this many times over the years and having, like, I've got 3 different vision boards. Maybe I did them once every 3 years or so. And just, I recognize a lot of the tools in here from past goal type things. And this last Thanksgiving was kind of like this season or this place in my life where all of that had cultivated and just bore so much. I had money in my bank account. I had time to prepare and enjoy preparing to gather with my family. I was not rushed. I was not frantic. I was able to, spend time just cleaning out, maintaining, preparing, to have people in my home, to plan a meal, and to literally have time to just make food without my hair on fire.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And as kids, the kids would come in, there was a place for them and it was thought out and it was planned. Even the grandkids had a special little place and felt like it was planned for them. Like, oh, I belong here. You thought about it. That to me was the cultivation of working on habits and positioning and planning well, which I am not a planner by nature. I am an impulsive, fly by the seat of my pants person, and to actually have walked through that, that holiday, and I just felt like I had so much to be grateful for. So my encouragement to you guys is to do the work and always, realize that there's so much, you don't see it now, but this is like the seeds that you're planting and you're digging some furrows and you're going to see a harvest in the years ahead. So that's
Sweet Thanksgiving.
that's
That's
my
awesome.
insight from all of that. It's worth it.
Yeah, I took from that habits and do the work. And that was really good. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else want to share before we move on? All right. This next section is one of my favorites, daily declarations. And so, it kind of goes in a lot of the things we've been talking about is that I believe there's always 2 voices happening. No matter what, you're always talking to yourself. And generally you're either talking from fear or you're talking from faith. And so this next exercise, daily declarations, is to write some sentences about yourself, who you are, who you want to be. And this is prescriptive. This is who I want to be. Like, what do I want to believe about myself? What do I want to believe about reality? And in speaking these to you, like truth is powerful. Like when words have power, when you say truth, when you speak truth, you're either pumping up that tire or air is coming out. And so next thing is to write these as if it's happening now. To write like who you are. I put actually I'm going to show before I go into that, I wanted to show you a video. Let's see.
When your real estate license is coming up for renewal, learning online with the CE Shop is the best way to renew.
Now look in the mirror and tell me what you see.
I see Junior.
You see Junior. Well, you want to know what I see? I see pride. I see power. I see a badass mother who don't take no crap of nobody.
You really see all that?
Yeah, man. But it's not about what I see. It's about what you see. Now look in this mirror and tell me again what you see.
Well, I see
pride.
Pride. Right.
It's one of my favorite scenes in that movie. But it's just the idea of like, what are some things that you need to believe about yourself, who you are, who you want to be, that you do. Like if it's habits or it's prioritizing as being more disciplined, or it's what are those things that you need to like speak over yourself? Because I think we take for granted like the power of our own thoughts and the power of our own words and our own self-talk. And so I linked mine. Here's mine, and I spent like months working on these and writing them. Let's see this. I know who I am. I'm loved and accepted by God. I have freedom and confidence in Jesus. For God, I'm also very spiritual. I fear God more than any man. I love my life and will lay down my life to serve her. I nurture, equip, train, and empower my children. I grow smarter and stronger each day. I have courage to do hard things. I rejoice in suffering. I'm content. Choose joy. Anyways, there's a lot of things. And again, like I have these printed on a card and I have them everywhere. In like those days where I feel overwhelmed or feel stressed or feel like nothing's going right, or I feel like I messed up in a big way, or I'm a failure, which happens a lot. Like I speak these over myself. I try to read this every day. I don't know what's happened, but I just think there's power in like speaking over who do you want to be, who are you, and like believing that versus believing the other voices in your head. And so I think these are linked in here if you want to reference mine. I stole some of these from another guy who taught on this thing. So I'm not the author of all of these. Then I kind of made some of my own. One of them, I have enough time in my day because I schedule what is important and not at the mercy of urgent. And so that's not true 90% of the time, but I have to like tell myself.
Convince yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not convinced, it's like these are truths. Like you have that insight. But you have to speak it, you have to declare it. And I just think there's power in doing that. So this is probably like the hardest of the exercises, but I think it's like when you have things like this is who I am. I am grateful, whatever it is. So let's break out, and again,
I think too, this stretches you in the place of becoming. Because if we just say who we are right now, the daily declarations ought to be futuristic, too, and growth oriented.
But I want you to write them as if they're now. Like I am this.
Right.
I do this.
But it's okay if you're not yet.
Yeah. But we all have those moments like, man, I feel like an imposter. I feel like a failure. And you can either believe that or you can speak truth against that.
Hey, Jamie.
Huh?
Hey. It's Angela. Have you heard of Joe Dispenza? Yeah, so I'll send you in Slack one of his podcasts. But this is really he's a backstory is he really internally healed himself. But yeah, you'll find that he's very future thinking and affirmation and manifestation and stuff. So I'll send you a link to his podcast.
Yeah, I love the geek out and stuff. But even like with my kids on our drive to school, every morning I go, what do I need you to say? And I make them say, I'm kind, I'm beautiful, I'm smart, I'm loved, I'm perfect the way I am. Like, say that out loud. Why do we say that? And then they always respond, truth gives you power. And I also say, what do ISIS do? And they go, we do hard things. I'm like, why do we do hard things? Because it makes you stronger. I literally make them say that every day on the way to school. The biggest thing is like girls, I want them to believe I am beautiful. So I have them say it out loud.
Hold on, you're in the meeting.
That's nice. I like this out. There's some shadow. Yeah. What? Nothing. Him? No, that's only my second, my declaration. Right,
This one's good. Oh. This kind of one. I should have seen it. I've tightened them a few times today. Thank you, Barb. Yeah. I know. I like it. I want to do that. And then one DVD. We're gonna have a vision journal class for our spouses. Yeah, so you can teach it to our spouses. We're gonna have a vision journal class for our spouses.
In what respect?
We're gonna send our kids,
We feel like
our
we need to
adult
do this
children
here.
to you, to do this with them, AKA our partners.
I can't get my kids to,
No, we're talking about our
Our
adult
spouses.
kids.
I've got an adult child too, and I can't get him to do anything.
No,
We're talking about
husbands.
husbands, boyfriends.
Oh, that kind of.
That child.
Well, I'm not any better than
I
that.
got Missy, I was like, Brian.
No, I'm talking
I've
about
known you
Gavin.
for a really long time. I don't know if she's your child.
No, I'm talking about Gavin.
No, I was actually just speaking for myself when I was talking about my adult child.
I mean, I kind of feel like we balance each other out. Like, I feel
Chris
like
and I are too
sometimes
similar.
he's the adult, and then sometimes I'm the adult.
I feel like I'm.
It depends.
Hey, how many good ones? I want to share. I'm excited about.
I mean, I'll always share.
Do it.
I think, my brother told me this about a week ago, and he was like, I was complaining about something. We're each other's sounding board. He was like, follow the plan, not the mood. And I was like, oh, no, but I just thought it was, yeah.
Oh, that's.
And I was kind of like, oh, like, those things, but I really lacked that affirmation to be like, okay. Because, like,
I love
it's no
that.
secret, it's been tough here in real estate, the country, that all the things, and it's really easy to adopt whatever's going on.
So what's that? Is that I am? Like, what do you? How do you phrase it?
What do you mean?
Like you said, I follow the plan. Not
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I follow the plan, not the mood.
I had the thing, I won't let outward influences affect my outcome. Which I
Ooh,
didn't
that's
even,
good too.
I
love
didn't
that.
know that. Say it again. I was like, that's weird. I won't let outward influences affect my outcome. Well, that's a good
I
one.
kind of have that same kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know a silly one, but I have adult children. And it's impressionable, like they're coming into their own, their
Right.
egos and all that. And I guess one of my things is parenting and conducting myself in business and in life, like morally and not like, it's very easy, especially when you have adult children, guys can attest to this, to like act emotionally, like get pissed, overreact, don't do whatever. And really, I try to be in business. I'm much better in business than I am personally, honestly, to really be more disciplined and show them the moral and ethical value rather than my initial reactions.
So tell me a sentence. How do you say that?
I want to teach my children to be morally and ethically sound, because that's a huge influence or testament to like who I am, like I would say who I am today. Like I can still send a Facebook post or something, like remembering my dad, and my dad was one of those morally, ethically sound people I've ever known in business and personally, and like people will comment like, I was never treated more fair, I was never done, there was no one more compassionate, and so I think that's probably like, I would like to grow into the impactful
So
that he was.
my challenge for you is remove one from that
Yeah,
sentence. I do. I raise my kids.
Yeah.
So don't, it's not want, it's I raise my kids ethically and morally.
Another one of mine, I take my dogs captive because then they don't start going because like this year's been tough. I'm grateful despite my circumstances, like despite anything that's crap in my life, I'm grateful because my family has their health. We have a roof over our head. Like,
I love that.
Yeah.
That's great.
I'll share. I've actually done daily affirmations for years.
Cool.
Written the same 3 down almost every day because I can be very anxious at times.
Yeah.
And a way for me to calm myself on a daily basis and just start the day off right. I just always say to myself, I am safe and secure. I am healthy mentally and physically. And then this one is a statement that has been in my head ever since probably now for 26 years because it's a quote from a song that I started singing to my first daughter. And it says, all I really need is a song in my heart, food in my belly, and love in my family. And I just
Love that.
every single day.
Cool.
So
I love it. Those are great. Thanks for sharing those.
Yeah.
That pumps me up hearing that. All I need is a song in my heart and food in my belly.
and love in my family.
And love in my
Have you ever heard of Rafi? He was like, yeah, that's one of his most favorite songs. And I used to play Rafi in the car and play that all the time. And that one statement, it was just, it plays in my head on repeat.
Oh, that's a great one to have in your head. All right. Anybody else have one? All right. Was that hard for anybody?
That was actually the easiest for me.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
All right. This next section is another kind of fun one, so like the question ones. Where'd it go? This is just sort of dreaming. So this is again less like specific goals, and just kind of dreaming about in 2025. What are some new things I want to try? What are you excited about? How many places you want to go? How many books you want to read? You know, I always want to read this, or I want to learn more about. Are there 3 people I want to become better friends with? Something I want to try. New skills. Anyways, this is just kind of a fun section that I think is just gets you sort of dreaming about next year.
That was nice. Is this just for kind of design or just in general?
Yeah, just in general. But I would run it through the lens of 2025. I think like
Just do that.
I think it's about next.
So we got our
Yeah, and you're jingle jangling.
Sorry, everyone.
Alrighty. Wrap wherever you're at for right now. And so again, this is just kind of I feel like it just gets the brain kind of thinking about dreaming a little bit. So anybody, I'm gonna go ahead and jump to the next section. Actually, does anybody need a break? Want to take a 5-minute break? Are we good to keep rocking and rolling? Keep rocking? Anybody want to take a break? Or we want to keep rocking? Okay. So this next section is the specific goal section. So this could be for next quarter, this could be for the next year, this could be for the next six months. Generally, these are like anywhere between 2 to 4, 5, 6 months out, or it could be like a goal for the year. And so the thing with goal planning is you need specificity. So this last section was just kind of like dreaming and fun. Specificity, it has to be actionable, and it also has to be measurable. And it's kind of relevant. There's a time, it's time bound. So I have a space here for 6 goals. Where did they go? And so for each of these, it can either be like a spiritual goal, a social goal, a fitness goal. And some of the work we just did would inform me is like 3-year, 5-year, 1 year. I mean, like kind of specific goals I need to work on. So intellectual goal, motivation, why is it important? And then what are sort of the 3 steps or 3 things that you need to do? And I also have a little section here of milestones. Like when do each of these need to happen? So if it's a savings goal, if it's a family trip goal, if it's a health goal, what are some milestones along the way that like by this time I want X to have happened? Habits. Are there any habits that you need to? Honestly, I think the habit section is probably the most important piece of this goal. Are there any habits or things or routines that I need to change that help me get to that goal? And then this question here is wrong because it's right here. The end result is important to me. This is supposed to be I'll reward myself with X if I get this. And it's like they're a treat, a reward, it's something you can do for yourself if you actually achieve this. So these are thinking about at least like the quarter 1 of 2025. What are 6 goals or things that you want? Or it could be 4 months, 6 months. I wouldn't get too far down the road.
Thanks for being here. Good to see you. Yeah, yesterday. See you soon. I'm so sad that you. Is she? See you. All of them.
Mm-hmm.
Something that's one. This week there.
Oh, I wish I could do that if we're not 8:30. Start at like for 9:30 at the latest these days. The time changes all. Yeah, I was going to say, that's me. Yeah, you're going to bed.
Where are you going?
I've got to go back here.
We're at the meeting at 1.
I think they have a meeting with, do they not meet with?
Yeah, they meet with Jimmy
Oh.
at 12.
You have a meeting at 1? We have another assembly meeting at 1?
No, just Taja and Jamey.
Yeah. Wait, that wasn't right, Josh. Yeah, that was for next Wednesday. Yeah, that was it, for us. Okay.
No.
Does anyone want to share one of their goals? No? Do they have a specific goal they want to share?
I have a goal that we will have a sixth tab office in Mineola in 5 years. Huh?
It's a good goal. I like it.
Where's Mineola?
Your tower,
Okay.
that's where we will retire to, where Missy and I will live. So my goal is that we have an office there. I'm still the broker. I'm the brokerage manager there, and there'll be a brokerage manager here, but I would still be involved in what's going on in all the offices. So we've got our Google Meet, we've got all this neat technology, which only can get better. And it's still, I still would come to Fort Worth once in a while, more than, maybe once a month, maybe twice a month, I would still come here. That's my goal.
Love it. That's your big goal.
That's my 5 year.
That's your big 5 year. Anybody else want to share a specific goal? 2025, next quarter.
Mine's it's more personal. I'll share my personal one. I want to build a better garden.
Love that.
Because my husband and I got into gardening, and I finally convinced him after 30 years to build me a garden. So he finally decided that it was his idea, even though I've been asking for 30 years. I'm going to build a garden. I said, oh, what a great idea. So we've really gotten into it, and I've really enjoyed it. So, but there's a lot that goes into it. I have no idea how to research it and figure out what grows best in this area. And I finally had a fall harvest this last fall for tomatoes, but more, because I want to live more, I want to produce what I eat. It's very, very rewarding. So that is essential.
I love that. That's a great example.
Well,
On action steps, how many of y'all put it on the calendar?
Oh, yeah.
Put it on
That's
our
it. Time block on the calendar. Yeah.
That's like
Yeah.
I was looking through like 3 of these, and my first action, all of them is like put time on the calendar.
Set aside time. That was my number one.
Put time on the calendar.
I got it. I was getting a little lost between action and habit because they kind of intertwine. So I was like, oh, this is the action. I was like, oh, but that's a really good habit too. So, if it's like better marriage, stronger marriage, more time with each other, it requires you to work on that. And I'm like, okay, more date, like a date night. But it's more important that it not just be a date night, but a date night with phones down. And we get really distracted. But then also I like to send loving, funny texts throughout the day because we get so busy. We're just like, will you pick up the laundry? It's like, that's not very loving. Or look at this funny joke I had, or I was thinking about you, or I can't wait to see you tonight. And, and you're married 20 years, you're kind of like, get the laundry. That would really make me happy. Get the laundry. And by the way, pick up Chick-fil-A. I'm not kidding. So just getting back to some of those basics, I think would be as one of my goals too.
I've got a question about milestones. What are we supposed to put things?
Just like, if it's, so there's you have like like a goal could be like, I want to do date night something, could be a goal. A goal could also be like, I want to buy an investment property next year. So milestone might be like, get pre-approved.
Oh, so it's dates and then like
Yeah.
what you're gonna do, the dates and the steps go together.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So, and you don't need to like more time to sort of think about that, but like, what are, by this time I will.
So to check in with yourself, like to keep accountable.
Yeah.
The dates are to keep accountable. Okay, okay.
Yeah, like by this time I need to have done this, by this time I need to have done. All right, now we got a little bit more time. Have you all done anything like this, Brian, like your ideal week? And
Yes,
like
we've
stuff?
done many things, but you can run through it. It doesn't hurt to reinforce. You know, we talked about it at the Feeney, according to the Feeney, we talked about when the day, when the week, when the month, and the year.
Yeah. And have y'all like map out your ideal week at all?
Not really that way. The Feeney's thing is 2 hours a day, 4 days a week, 3 weeks a month, 8 months a year.
Yeah.
That's winning.
Okay. So this next exercise is really about like, again, if I have things I want to do, if I have things I want to accomplish, if I want to make time for X, Y, and myself, time for kids, time for a date, time for working out, reading, time for journaling, time for prospecting, time for whatever it is, like it doesn't happen on accident. And I've had different seasons in my life where I like map out, here's my ideal week, and I'm like psycho strict about it. And then at times where like my calendar is just crazy. And so for me, I generally have like a rule of like no meetings on Mondays. Cause like Mondays I need like blocking that on, we're gonna work out X amount of days. So this next exercise is just like, if you could design your week and block off spots on the calendar, what would that look like? And so you don't have to fill in everything. You might not want, you don't need to write like sleep here. But you know, for me, it would be workout, read, here, probably every day, drop off the kids. And then Monday it would be like no meetings. And then Tuesday is kind of like my meetings, internal meetings day. Wednesday is like meeting the clients. Evening, you might not even have dinner, but it like, is there anything, if you could build your perfect week and then stick to that, like, versus just being at the mercy of whatever task, whatever person, whatever,
It changes every week. That's why I don't want to write on this, because I'm like, maybe this will just be my planner for next year and I'll just print a new one off.
Yeah. And if you want, you can also take another one too, like if you like.
Or in its own PDF.
Because it has it through the
And it's
PDF.
on paper, but this is like, it's designed, like if I'm designing my week, what do I need to block off? What do I need to put on the calendar? And I, will literally like put a lot of these things on my calendar to block it off, to see it every day.
Can I ask you a question about it?
Uh-huh.
Because how does your perfect week coincide with Melissa's perfect week? Because that's, I think, a big thing too. It's like,
Yeah.
Thursdays and Fridays in the season, like we go down to our ranch, and that's not necessarily my perfect week, but it's something that's important for a family in this season. So how does that like?
Yeah, I think that would be a part of it.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I take our girls to school every morning. By the way, I don't do pickup.
Yeah.
But I take them to school.
Yeah.
And we have different things that we do.
Yeah.
For the most part, we're kind of doing our own thing.
Yeah.
8 to 5 p.m. And so the weekends are hard. Although like she knows, like like Saturday and Sunday morning, I do like a long workout.
Yeah.
That's my long workout time. From 9 to 10:30. That's I do it and I'll take a nap on Sunday.
Yeah.
Granted, that's not on my calendar, but an ideal Sunday is like 3 o'clock. I take a nap.
Yes.
So I think you just your family is a part of that.
Yeah.
Compromise,
Yeah.
communication.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then protecting that time too. think that with your family, I think a lot of times we get so hyper focused on answering our phones, being the first, and in the middle of visiting at college or, you know, one-on-one time with them that you just get lost in like, I just need to do this really quick. And I think the message to them is anybody falls second, you know, like I'm always coming behind work. So.
And this, like, it's impossible to always stick with this. Things happen, appointments happen. But if you don't have any intentionality, it doesn't change.
Yeah.
And it'll just be open and, you know, and that's what you want to avoid. Is not having thought about it. And I feel like right now my calendar is just kind of throwing this in here, and I'm not blocking anything. And it's not like that's not the life I want to live. And so one of my 22 goals is like to take that control of my calendar and really have like no meetings during these times. Especially with clients don't know. They're like, okay, but then it's like, cool.
It took me, I think, 2 years to figure that out. I was always like, nope, I can do it. And then finally I was like, I don't have to do it right now. Like I have
it with yourself.
Yeah, I have a meeting, or, you know, I can do it, not at 2, but I can do it at 4. Does that work? And 9 times out of 10, they all say, sure. Yep. So it's a lot of self-imposed pressures that I think we put on ourselves.
I do that too.
Yeah, where I'm like, I've got to be the first. I've got to do it, or I've got to do it all, and you don't.
The biggest thing that I learned was scheduling and blocking the family time.
You have to
Blocking,
do that first.
you have to start there. And I learned it before I took any of the Peak Producers 100 Days to Greatness, but that was one of the big things in Peak Producers that Brian talked about. And in some of the other classes, he said, my calendar starts with vacation, family vacations. These are where I'm going to be. Now I'm going to back up and say, what are the family birthdays? What are the family events? Who's riding a horse? Because he has a daughter who went to SAU and equestrian. Do those. Now I start talking about business. And when he said that, and it supported my philosophy of, if I don't block the time for my wife and my kids, they won't get any.
Yeah.
Because everybody else is always willing to take my spare time.
And if you don't block time to create content, you know, block time to prospect, you don't block the time. And even like we tend to check email all the time. It's like really you should have like, I'm gonna check email at this time. I'm not just constantly.
That's hard. That's
You'll
hard
be,
for me. I
Me
like to
too.
keep my email. I mean, I'm
Clean.
insane. I'm like, if everything has a folder, everything is read and put in a folder or acted on.
Yeah.
Listen, my husband has like 40,000 emails, and I was like, well, how do you manage? He goes, I just search it. I'm like, oh my God.
Same. Anxiety.
Yeah, but I'm trying to do better. Like, but once a day, oh geez, that would not happen.
I think sometimes as a rule too, there's a lot of important things that can happen between 8 and 5. So you do have to have multiple times to check your email. But I think to his point, I do the same thing. I check it all day long.
And you can't get deep work done.
You can't.
No.
No, you can
No.
check all the time. You
Yeah.
gotta check the email all the time.
Yeah. I've tried to do the whole unsubscribing thing, and I am laser focused convinced that it just resubscribes me somewhere else to something else, because I don't feel like I'm reducing emails. I'm just like, I just delete it.
I think it
I just
delete it too.
I try. I did a whole exercise for 2 weeks of unsubscribe, delete, unsubscribe, and I'm still getting. And I love White House Black Market, but I'm still getting it.
It takes a while. It takes usually.
Does it?
It takes about 6 times of you
Oh.
for them to process it.
I wouldn't have even.
Missy has 20,000 emails.
I wouldn't have even started.
You just do it every time it comes in. Every time it comes in. It took me about 3 years to get unsubscribed from everything.
Wow.
Nope.
You can just set a filter for everything that comes in from them, that it gets deleted immediately.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's the best. That's what I ended up doing for a lot of them. Just hit the email, set a filter, and you ought to see my list of the filters I had. It's probably, if I was printing out, it's probably 40 pages long.
Oh my
all the
God.
filters I use.
Oh, that's a good tip. Something else I pulled away from today.
Time block it.
Yep, I know, time block, it's the unsubscribe time.
From 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. every day. I'm going to be unsubscribing for 40,000 for years.
And any more time on the week. All right, daily rituals. This next section. This is similar to planning a perfect week. But this is the idea of what are some habits and routines that can help you optimize your day or prime your day. Is there a routine in the morning or a routine in the evening that will help me stack the odds in my favor of me having a great day? And so I would say this one of the most instrumental habits that like kind of totally transformed my life. Like those keystone habits. These are like these habits that kind of change and affect everything. And one of those for me is getting up early. If I get up at 5:30, I'm gonna win. My chances of having a great day are infinitely higher than not. And so my morning looks like getting up between 5:15 and 5:30 and making my coffee in the morning, having a little bit of alone time, reading, journaling, and then working out. It's like, and if then kids get up and it's chaos in the house. It's like, if I do that, like my day I'm going to feel so much better than when I don't do that, when I hit the snooze button. Likewise, if I can end my day by putting my phone, so one of mine is like, I put my phone in the bathroom and I get in bed and I journal for a little bit and I read before I go to bed, my day is like I'm going to bed doing enough time, thoughtful. I'm like kind of rethinking like how was the day, it's just, if you can stack the end and the beginning, the chances of having the best day you can have are so much better. And so just thinking through, like, what are those little habits and routines that you could build in? And it's really hard to control, but in the middle of your day, all this stuff happens, and clients start calling, and you have all this stuff to do, and you go into work mode. But if there's rituals that you can bake into the beginning and bake in as you wind it down, it makes a huge difference. It doesn't guarantee you're going to win the day, but it stacks the odds much higher in your favor. And once you do it enough, then it becomes habit. And it feels weird when you don't do it. On this little exercises, was anybody like, I feel like I'm doing this pretty well already, or like, or I need to drastically shift my
No, I'm terrible.
schedule?
No, but it is interesting because it's like when I do these things, it's like it puts a ribbon on the end of the day. And it's not anything crazy, but it's just being in my space and like doing the things.
Or even getting up and just like making your bed every morning and like doing things instead of like kind of going back to like messy, like life being messy. Kind of sets, I do notice the days that I get up and do that, I am more productive during the day and it kind of sets the tone for, you know, I don't know.
Those mornings are so
Mindset.
hard for me.
They are.
The evening, it's like, if I can start and do dinner, I can get dinner going, the rest of the night is great.
Yeah.
If it's like, I'm just gonna order a pizza, like order food to be delivered, or just gonna make sandwiches, like, that's where it's like, then it's just chaos all the way through.
I think it also matters. It's different when you're in a different season in your life. You have littles, so you're like when your littles are very like much control and need, and you have big ones that are self-sufficient. You're like, oh, well, I know, like when I get up in the morning, I immediately start working. Like I immediately grab a computer and I'm immediately regretful of it because I'm not taking a minute to just do something calming. And so mine is shifting to be grateful, read something inspirational, get up, get in the shower. I mean, I make my bed every day. Get up, get in the shower, be done getting ready by like 7:30 and then work and then start work. Nothing's going to happen at 6. So people need to know that.
And if you wake up and it just sets the tone of like anxiety.
Yeah.
And I'm guilty of that. Like,
I just figure if I get it done at 5 or 6, when everything's quiet, get, social posts done and everything, that it's done for the day. And that's been my mindset for about a year. And that whole entire year has been nothing but like a big stressful in the morning.
You feel stressed.
Yeah.
You know what I started doing recently, like in the last like week or two, I stopped charging my phone at night.
Oh.
And then what I would do, or what I'll do is I'll plug it in first thing in the morning because then it has to stay on the charger.
That's a good little habit.
And so because I can't work throughout the day if it's dead. So it's like, I'll put away whatever laundry I didn't get done, or like make the bed, just do the little busybody things that I can't, do when I'm looking at my phone.
These are always a good sort of reset and reminder of just, these are basic. This isn't life shattering, right? It's not like, it's just simply saying, don't start work at 6. Go take care of yourself first. Get a cup of coffee. Be quiet. Be mindful.
Like having some sort of silence and solitude.
Yeah.
And then using your body. It's like if you do those two things, like you feel something. But it's just taking control versus just going through the motions. So I'm gonna skip the last one. The last one's kind of a real estate prospecting thing because I know you do so much for PE stuff. I don't want to jack with that, but it's a fun little thing you can explore. Okay, I hope this was helpful. I hope it was fun. I hope it wasn't too overwhelming. It probably is a little overwhelming, but I would encourage you put some time on your actual calendar or pull up your phone in another room before bed. And work on this a little bit. So you're just going into next year with like, okay, what are some things I want to do? How will my day to look like? What are things I need to believe and speak to myself? There's some truths I need to, So I don't know, anybody has any other questions or thoughts or
Thank you. Thank you for the time.
This was long.
It's worth it.
Yeah. But it's like 2025 won't be great on accident. You have to like
Be intentional, always. Yeah.
Thank you, Jamie. Thank you everyone for
Yeah,
coming.
intentional.
Let's all give Jamie a round of applause.
I gotta give you a round of applause.
He gets so embarrassed. But thank you guys for joining us online. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll put the video up so you can go back and look at it later. Have my YouTube slide or my slideshow. The market stats and stuff will be on there. Talk to y'all later, and we'll see you next week. Contract update at 10 o'clock next Wednesday. Please come or watch. See you.
Bye.
Yeah, nobody wants another one of these.
Can I buy 6 and do it family over Christmas movie?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Then I was thinking like maybe like